Borussia Dortmund are well known for their vast array of attacking talent and the brilliant signings that they make. But, of course, with everyone that comes in, there are a few others who may need to leave through the exit door to make space and to bring in a little bit of money. So today, continuing on with our latest series, we'll be looking at 5 players who should leave Borussia Dortmund in the summer. First off, and it's fullback Niklas Schulz. Now, you'll remember that he actually only joined the club from Hoffenheim last summer, and at the time, he was a certainty to go to Euro 2020 with the German squad. But a few months later, a few injuries, he hasn't really played, and a change in formation at Dortmund has meant that his place in the side is pretty much non-existent. Rafael Guerreiro has been in fine form for the campaign. Hakimi can play on both sides, both full-back sides. And Schulz, well, he needs to get some game time. Of course, he's quite lucky in the fact that the Euros have been postponed until 2021. So in the summer, he's got a chance to leave or get assurances about full-time football at the club so he can work his way back into the German national squad. He's by no means a bad player. It's just that things didn't really work out for him at this level. Of course, 25 million was quite a lot of money they shelled out for him in the first place, so they'll definitely be looking to recoup some of that in the summer. And second on this list is someone who won't actually be leaving for a transfer fee. On a free transfer, they shall be departing. That is Mario Götze. Honestly, Mario Götze is one of the biggest enigmas in football. Like, he scored the World Cup final winning goal in 2014. Then he obviously had an unfortunate injury. Then he's come back and then he's out of the squad again and he can't quite find his place. Who knows what's going on? I mean, if he was worth absolutely everything to Dortmund, there is no way they would have let his contract run down. And, I mean, if he was worth anything to any other club, or if he was seen as a really, really good prospect, there would have been so many clubs fighting over him the second that he was available on a free transfer. As it stands, we're 5 months into the new year when he could have spoken to other European clubs. And, well, it looks like that a new deal with Dortmund may actually still be on the table. Dortmund CEO Hans-Joachim Watzke said that everything is on ice at the moment, but talks will be resumed. So maybe he's actually not going to be leaving just yet. I don't know. In my personal opinion, he's 27. He should have his best years ahead of him, and there definitely will be some top clubs willing to take a punt on him, especially as he's going to be on a free transfer. Obviously, Dortmund weren't willing to pay the 10 million per season that he wanted, which is an astonishing amount of money for someone who barely plays. But there may just be another club out there who's willing to do that. But another Dortmund player who could be leaving the club is Mahmoud Dahoud. Now, since joining from Gladbach for 12 million a few seasons ago, things haven't exactly gone to plan. At the time, he was seen as one of the future of German midfielders. And now at 24 years old and with just 64 appearances to his name in the last 3 years, he needs to move on. I mean, his agent said there's not really that much talk of an exit, but certainly with the way that Dortmund are moving in the transfer market, there is just so many places for competition. I mean, there's one player who we're going to get onto next. There's Emre Can, Axel Witsel. There's talk of them bringing Jude Bellingham in as well. I mean, there's just so much competition, and if he can't break down it now, what's going to change next season or the season after? He definitely needs to get playing again if he's to further his career, because he doesn't want to enter the prime years of his career not really being a regular starter or a star man at the club. Of course, for Dortmund, 12 million doesn't exactly represent a huge gamble. I mean, they're going to get some money for him, but even if they lost him on a free, 12 million isn't exactly much to a club of their size. And talking about the players that he's got to break into in front of him, there is another player who's not only blocking Dahoud's path, but also struggling himself. That is Thomas Delaney. Now, first season at Dortmund, unbelievable, but this season has just been injury hit, and he's really struggled since the January transfer window because they bought in Emre Can. At the moment, this Can-Witsel duo in midfield is unbelievable, and there's just no way that Delaney's really going to break back into it in the long term. Either Can, who's just been signed, is going to go back to the bench. Can't see that happening. And Witsel has arguably been one of the best players in the Bundesliga since he signed a year and a bit ago. So I'm not so sure he's going to be able to break up those two. The other thing as well is, with Dortmund's formation, they play with 2 central midfielders. That doesn't exactly look to change. The only one of Delaney, Witsel and Can who could play anywhere else, in my opinion, is Can. And that's because he filled in the back 3 during his Liverpool days. But even then, he's not exactly convincing there, and I can't see him accepting that for too long, apart from filling in for the odd match. So 3 central midfielders, only 2 positions available, and there's Dahoud as well. And as we mentioned before, Bellingham may or may not be joining. Looks like Delaney may find himself out the door sooner than he's in the starting 11. And finally, lastly but not least, the one you're obviously expecting on this list, Jadon Sancho. Honestly, there's so many rumours going about at the moment, whether the club want to sell him, whether they want to keep him, whether Sancho wants to leave, whether he wants to stay. Who knows what's going on? What we do know is that if he is to leave, it's going to be one hell of a transfer. At Dortmund at the moment, I don't want to say reached his peak because the club haven't reached their peak, but what more is there to achieve? I mean, at Dortmund, they've got, obviously, the task of trying to topple Bayern Munich for like the first time in 8 years and win the Bundesliga, and they can also win the Champions League. But the thing is, if Sancho moves, he's hardly going to be moving to a club where those opportunities are going to be less. He's going to be moving up to, let's say, a club that's higher up on the food chain within the Champions League. Every single team imaginable is interested in the young Englishman. And even if he moves to Manchester United, technically, is he playing in a better league, a more competitive league than the Bundesliga? Whatever. He's playing at a bigger club. Obviously, Dortmund are going to be attracted by the amount of money that they can bring in for him. He's going to be attracted by the enormous wage he'll be on at Manchester United, the chance to build a legacy in England, one of the biggest clubs in the world. For me, there's no way that if a serious offer doesn't come knocking from United or Barca, Real Madrid, something like that, Sancho doesn't leave. Of course, Dortmund don't want to lose a big player. That's pretty much standard for most clubs. You don't want to lose one of your biggest and best players. But on the flip side, if he does bring in a ridiculous amount of money, it's very, very difficult to say no. So there you have it, 5 players who could leave Dortmund in the summer. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And whilst you're at it, you can also check out loads of other stuff we've got going on in Onefootball by clicking here or here. But that's all from me. Until next time, I will see you guys soon.